fun time today. If you do presentations, you know it's important to come across in a really profound and professional way, having fun. But how do you funny up your presentations? How do you make them better and at the same time be professional? Well, we're going to help you on that because we've got someone joining us today who, well, is one of the best out there. I have known her for many years, probably decades, as a professional speaker and a humorist, someone who is absolutely magnificent. Her name is June Cline. She's a CSP, Certified Speaking Professional, and she goes by the Southern Sassy and Savvy Harley Riding Humorist. June, it's wonderful to have you with us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You know, we do go back a ways. We go back a long ways. I love that you said decades. I think it's about 3 of them.
Yeah, it could be, yeah, and getting better all the time. Because as professional speakers, we get a chance to do a whole bunch and things. We met when I was back in Georgia, back at, and I was president of the group that at that time was called Georgia Speakers Association. Kind of clever they used that because it was right in Georgia. It's kind of handy on that. Of course, now known as NSA Georgia, and it was wonderful there. But I want to talk with you a little bit about the humor. What would you say to someone who says, "Oh, I can't be funny. I tried funny and it didn't work, and I don't know how to do that when I'm making a presentation." What would you say to that person?
Well, number one, I'd say stop it. Stop it. And if you haven't seen the Bob Newhart Stop It video, then you're going to need to Google that. And that's all you need. Bob Newhart. And he's one of the originals. He's an amazing comedian of about 50 or 60 years. I don't know. But the point is, on my humor tips, which, you know, people can grab off of my website, they're the ground zero is what I call it, is decide that you are going to be funny, and you just stop saying that you're not, for one thing, because that will open up your brain to start hearing and seeing things differently. So that's number one, is the observational humor. And then you take it, and oftentimes you have to cut it down, make it short, make it a little pithy, which, you know, takes a little bit of skill and practice and trying. And so that's what I would recommend doing, is number one, stop it.
I
You're
like it.
funny.
Makes sense. Get in there and do it. So, how do you find funny? I've heard other humorists talk about that when things come along. What kind of system do you use to start building your material?
Well, it's again observation. I have a story that's going to be ready, but it's like with your everyday life. Whatever your kids do, whatever happens with your significant other or your friends, just notice. And if it makes you laugh out loud, then note to self. And I really, literally do have in my phone notes, and I start putting in there the phrase or the line that will remind me of whatever it is. So it's too long to go into here now, but the one recently, my husband and I were on a trip this weekend, and I was a little annoyed with him because I saw a cream that was on the sink there, and it said healing feet cream. And I'm like,
Healing feet cream. Okay.
it was Gold Bond, little bottle, healing feet cream. And I thought, good Lord, what is wrong with this man now? Because he never tells me anything. If something, he doesn't go into any of that, you know, he just plows right along. His favorite line is, "It's just a cut." Do you see that?
Just a cut, huh?
Just a cut. And because, you know, he'll come in with some gimp or limp or whatever, because he's a forensic engineer. So he's always in really some pretty dangerous places figuring out what caused the building to burn down. So he's a brilliant man. But anyway, so he'll come in, it's just a cut because he's gimping. So here's this feet cream. And I'm like, so finally I thought, I'm not going to say anything, not going to go there. And I couldn't stand it. I do. And so I'm like, what on earth is wrong with you now? You got something wrong with your feet? And he looked at me like I lost my mind. And he said, no. And so we didn't go there. I thought, okay, fine. So the next day, he says to me, "Did I dream that you asked me if something was wrong with my feet last night?" I said, "No, you didn't. I did ask." And so anyway, I went and fetched the cream and showed it to him. And he said, "I put that on my head. I thought it was head cream." So
Well, we'd have to find out, how does feet cream work on head when you put it on your head? I don't
can't
know.
read. He didn't see it. He didn't see what he bought. He bought thought the same tube that he'd been buying. and it was for his feet. And I said, well, that explains why there's two little pinkies sticking out of the top of your head. Ba bump bump. See, so that is a situation, made you laugh. So see, I'll work on that and tighten it up a little more, but or make it longer, as Jeannie Robertson would say, make it longer. But the point is, that's observational humor. That's everyday stuff.
Hmm. That makes sense. Well, hey, if you are watching this and you have some questions, we would love to hear from you. Matter of fact, one thing I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to click on this to see if that will work and add that caption. If I can put it in here so that if you want to show us that, here's what we're going to do is going to put that in here. You see, you type in chat.restream.io/FBTO. That means you're saying it's all right if you put my picture up there. So if you want to do that, you can leave it in the comments. We're on that's here on Facebook, and you're also if joining us on LinkedIn or they're on Twitter or some of the groups. We'd love to hear from you if you've got a question. I'm looking here and we're using the Restream tool to get out there. And June, this is a nice little tool. Now I know this is your inaugural visit, ladies and gentlemen. June has not used Restream before, and I was raving about it's my favorite platform for live streaming. And I find that it's got some real nice features to it. But June, you're seeing it from a unique, wonderful position. That is, this is your first time using it. What are your impressions?
Well, the fact that you look really good. So
Oh, okay.
I think that's a good first impression, and I'm excited about it. I have seen and heard you reference it, so I've been on another streaming platform, and before I purchase or go any deeper with that, I thought, let me check out and see what Terry's doing. So I messaged you and said, hey, what's the name of that thing? Because I couldn't remember that it was Restream. So what I'm seeing is good. I mean, and the fact that a lot of people are seeing us simultaneously now makes it even mo better, as I like
Yeah,
to say.
even more better. That's right. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great little tool because you can take it and go up to 30 destinations at the same time, which is a lot. You figured
yeah.
that way, from a marketing point of view, you're getting that message out. You don't have to say, hey, everybody, you got to come over here to this one location to see me. Because some people say, well, I'm not over there. I don't use that. Or I'm over here now. So what you do is you say, we'll come to you. We'll make it nice. I like to say that Restream, instead of being or, uses the word and, so that you can say I'm here and I'm here and I'm here, and you can do that. And I'm learning this interface here. Usually I use Ecamm and feed it into Restream, and it works beautifully. That's another nice thing about Restream. It's flexible and it gives you the ability to do a lot of that. And as you can see right now, June, are you seeing the chat Restream and then underneath that your name?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then, okay, that's probably because the other kids are getting that. Those that are out there working with it, and I've got to figure out how do I get June Cline out from under my picture and put it on yours. Now that'll be the key because I can move around here a little bit. Let me try this show here. There we are. I'm showing that. And that's good. I'm going to take that off, and then there we go. Now I've got June Cline and Terry Brock. Do you see June Cline on yours?
I do.
Okay.
I know who I am. Thank you so much. Yes.
There you go. Now you know. Well, this is really nice. And one of the other things I really like about this is very easy. I'm just clicking on some buttons here. And when I click on this button, notice it's got me now as the main person. I click on it again, and it puts the two of us there. And if I click on it this way, then you're on there alone. So it's got a chance to move around pretty easy. And I think that's important from a business, getting a business advantage when something is easy, because if it's
Absolutely.
easy to use, you tend to use it a little bit more, and it works well. Have you done any live streaming before?
Yes.
What's been your experience with live streaming?
Well, just you mean like Facebook Live and that sort of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, like that. Facebook Live, LinkedIn
Yeah,
Live,
I
and
just
others.
pop that phone right up in my face or right here, and I'm pretty comfortable with going live. I'm trying to get more proficient with YouTube and figure out how to do that. It looks like I've got to have 1,000 people or something on there to do that. So I'm in new technology realm. So you're my new best friend because I know you know all about this, and that's why I reached out to say, tell me that thing you're using again.
Yeah, well, I know a thing or two. I'm learning. I figure I like to say I'm in second week of kindergarten, heading for a PhD.
There you
So I
have
got a long, long way to go first, but we're always learning
Terry,
new.
I just want to say you introduced us to technology at the National Speakers Association 1,000 years ago. Well, at least 20. I mean, wasn't it at least
20,000, I think.
20 years ago that
20,000 years.
you were the man, and you still are, and you were the bomb, and you brought us into this whole new world. Now, some of us are slower than others, but I'm. Oh, did you see what you just did?
I know, I just clicked on something here and it puts us on top. Isn't that kinda cool? Look at that. Woohoo.
Oh, yeah, you're playing with buttons, but I don't know where my buttons are, so I apologize because I don't see some of that stuff, but I'm sure it's on my end. So whatever, I'm learning.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
in
we're
the
learning, and
first
that's a
grade
good.
of you being in the second grade of the PhD. Actually, I'm in kindergarten. I'm not even in first grade yet.
Yeah, I'm in second week of kindergarten. Second week, 'cause, I started kindergarten 2 weeks ago, and now second week, and I'm heading for a PhD, which is a ways off too. It'll take a little bit of doing to make that happen, but we're gonna enjoy it and, enjoy the journey as we go. And,
Enjoy.
by the way, those of you that are watching this, if you watch this on, replay, watch the, recorded version of it, go ahead and leave a comment anyway, even though we won't be there live. I like to check these every so often so I can come back and go, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that's a good one," or if you have a question about something, you can do it. But we're talking about using Restream and also using humor and putting it in there. One thing I wanted to ask you, a mutual friend of ours, someone we both admire greatly, Jeannie Robertson, does a
Mm,
lot with humor. And she talks about having a Genie's Journal where you collect your thoughts when something happens to you, you write it down. And she would do that with pen and paper. Now I like to tend to use my smartphone because I find I can talk faster than I can write and faster than I can type. So what I do is I just go to a certain place, tap on the screen a few places, and go, "Hey, I just had an idea about da 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 da," and it goes in here. Then I can keep that in here or send it as email somewhere and be able to do it. What are your thoughts on that? On the Genie's Journal or tool, something like that? What is that you have there?
same thing. This is my notes section. And I have a notes section that has all kinds of stuff in it. But this one says one woman show 2021. So in November 13th, I'm doing my one woman show again, bringing it back. All whatever allowing, and so I've started putting my notes of, oh yeah, that's a good story, that's a funny story, and many news stories based on where we are. So like Genie's Journal, it's electronic, and that, like you, I can just sit and talk. Of course, the hussy in my phone does not do Southern, and the stuff she puts in there, I mean, I can't even print or put out. So I have sent, has anybody else sent some really seriously bad text to someone else? I know she just doesn't understand me, and I fail to read oftentimes before I hit send, which I would just recommend. But it does make for great humor. See,
It can, or great embarrassment too.
very much.
Yeah, not that I've ever hit send before reading it. No, I'd never do anything like that. Yeah, yeah, right.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think that's good. But I like that. So how do you keep that organized? I see it there on the screen. You do it, and you're dictating it in. How do you
Mhm.
organize that?
Well, let me tell you, I have a plan. I have a process, and I'm actually just now rolling it out for me. And I've mentioned it to two or three people, and they love it. And it comes from my grandma. And we were just talking about a moment ago our families and the phrases. So my aunt Hassie would say, "I'll be Swanee." Now there's probably some people out there that have no clue what that means. We didn't either. We just meant it wasn't good, or she was shocked or surprised.
My
But my
grandma would say that too.
your grandmother,
Yep.
okay. And then the one that sparked this for me to come up with a plan, and I did hear it somewhere else and then morphed it. It's that, like someone was saying, the way we speakers do, and then like I was saying the next time. So I did see this basically somewhere else, but not in this format, because then it made me think of my grandmother always saying, "They Lord a mercy, they Lord a mercy," and that was not, that was either not good, or God bless them or bless their hearts, how we do in the South. So I came up with Lorda, Lorda. So the way I organize it is location, and let me see if I can do this: location, organization, um, recreation, determination, and attitude. So that's my five That's not my trifecta. That's the pin something that I organize my lines, my humor that way and see where it fits. And then I can take one out and pull it around. And a location could be where you live, or it could be the event you're at and what you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of mobility. There's a lot of different ways you can use that. So I'm fixing to begin to commence to start, which is a saying I've used for a long time. And I'm going
Say
to be
that again real slowly 'cause I love that.
fixing to begin to commence to start, and that may be the title of my upcoming one woman show. The last one was make it a great ride, because I do ride that motorcycle and I learned so much by damn near killing myself on the motorcycle. But it may be time to be fixing to begin to commence to start, based on everything we've just been through. So what are you going to start? What are you ready to, what brings you life? What brings you joy? What are you ready to get back out there? The world needs us. And if you can make somebody laugh out loud by telling your IMO, your idiot moment IMO, then that's icing on the cake.
I like it. Your IMO. Well, I've had certainly a lot of those in my life. And even when I think, okay, I'm going to be over that, life comes along, taps me on the shoulder, go, hey, Terry, you just had one of those idiot moments, an IMO. I like
Sometimes you
that.
don't even
So
know.
as long as nobody gets hurt, we're going to be fine. We kind of, you know me, live and let live. So let's just have a good time and see what we can do on that. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk with you about today is some of the things with Zoom. You're using Zoom now in your programs, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, and they've got a thing that they now have put into some of the newer versions where you can get apps. And it's right there on the screen at the bottom. You click on it, and there are apps available. If you go over to marketplace.zoom.us, you're going to see here's a good word, plethora. That means a whole bunch
I
of
love
those are going to be out there to choose from.
it. Yeah.
And they have tools like a Mentimeter, which does polling. You can put some nice graphics behind you with pixels, and you can put all kinds of wonderful little tools for increasing sales, for increasing your productivity, tying into programs like Slack, Google Mail, etc. All that just kind of, there's the sound. Clicks together there in Zoom, and it works really well. As a matter of fact, if someone wanted to take a peek at that, here we go. Fancy graphic coming up, June. Here we go. youtube.com/agorapreneurs. That's my channel there over on the YouTube. Shameless plug, but you get a chance to benefit from that, dear listener. If you watch this and see that, you're going to learn how to get that, how to blend it in there. And I'm even going to pay for it. You don't have to pay anything to go over to YouTube and to look at that. Isn't that nice of me, June?
That's awesome. You're so generous.
Yeah, so generous with that. But you go to Agorapreneurs, where we talk about the live and let live lifestyle of living peacefully. I like the way Leonard Reed said it, the founder of Foundation for Economic Education. 3 words, there's a way to live life. Anything that's peaceful. I thought that sounds pretty good. I like that idea. And we'll be able to get some good things for you there and make sure that's working just right in a nice way and helping you out. Well, we're going to be wrapping up in just a bit here. June, I really appreciate you coming by just to say hi and to say hello to us on this. Any other things you want to mention about, first of all, how people can get in touch with you? Someone says, hey, we want to find out about that young lady and see some of her work, read some of the content that you put out. How do they get in touch with you? And then any other words you want to leave us before we have to put on our coats and head out the door, ending our session here.
If you're going to put on a coat, darling, it's 90 something degrees out there. I'm just saying. But yes,
We might not need the coat today.
thank you for the invitation. I am grateful and appreciative of the opportunity to hang out with you always, and your friends and tribes and colleague. And I have 2 or 3 things going on, but junecline.com is just the quickest way to get to me and see some of the things I have going on. But I have a new women's group that I've just launching right now, and it's called Brass Bra Woman. And you can go to brassbrawwoman.com and or junecline.com, and it'll show up there. And then the other thing is to take the quiz. There's a comedic style quiz if you go to junecline.com, and it's important for you to know if your style is charming or harming your personal and professional relationships. That's a whole nother day's work of getting into that and understanding how a throwaway line probably some of you can nod your head yes to this, can really damage and hurt relationships. So that's my parting gift, is to go find out what your comedic style is.
I like that. And I just figured out this here. Again, I'm using a newer interface here on Restream because they've added a whole bunch of goodies to an already fabulous program. And I'm learning this in there, but we've got junecline.com, and there's JUNECLINE.com, and find all kinds of good things that are there. And June, just really appreciate you joining us today. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Terry.
Okay, and thank you for joining us as well. Those of you that are joining us here on the platform, we're looking forward to hearing from you. We're talking about ways that you can exceed what you need to do, go out there, succeed at it, and make it happen as an entrepreneur, or as I like to say, the agorapreneur, someone who is an entrepreneur who embraces the live and let live lifestyle. Thanks for being here with me, and I will look forward to seeing you a little bit later.